Okay, well, Mr. Beneficiary, take you and your trust back to jail. I ask the questions, you give the answers. Is that clear?
Mr. Beneficiary, you should not talk over to the court. I thank you very much. Thank you.
That is not fair. You cannot do this. Under oath and on record, you cannot do this.
If you're not Mr. Pollard, then you're not here. The warrant will be for your arrest, and you can sit in jail till you rot for all I care.
That's fine, Your Honor, but that's...
Deputy, you can remove him. He's not here.
He's not here.
All right, guys. Today we have a very dangerous sovereign citizen in court. He's facing 4 different hearings, and let me tell you, he gives every single judge a hard time. This guy is no joke. He has done some truly unthinkable things, but I won't spoil it for you. You won't believe how he tries to act like the rules don't apply to him, but these judges handle the situation perfectly, in my opinion. Let me know in the comments what you think this guy deserves for the crimes he committed. Trust me, you're going to want to stick around for this.
Beneficiary.
Oh, he done this before.
What's his name?
The beneficiary.
Yeah. First name, Mr. Beneficiary.
Are you stating that the trust that we are administrating is the Kevin Pollard Trust? If so,
I'm asking what your name is.
My name is the beneficiary of the trust.
Of whose trust?
Are you stating that the trust that we are now administrating is the Kevin Pollard Trust, Your Honor?
Okay, I'm going to recall him. Bring up somebody else. Put him aside. We'll call him at the end. Sir, is your name the beneficiary, Kevin Teron Anthony Pollard? Yes or no?
I'm the beneficiary of the trust, Your Honor. Are you stating that the trust that we are now administrating is the Kevin Pollard Trust?
Are you Kevin Pollard? I'm asking you.
Is the trust that we are now administrating?
Sir, I ask the questions here. You give me yes or no answers.
You're asking for my permission to
ask the questions. You give the answers. Is that clear?
It's very clear.
Okay, listen.
Yes.
Are you also known by the name of Kevin Pollard amongst other names? Yes or no?
Are you stating that the trust that we are now administrating is the Kevin Pollard Trust, Your Honor? If so, Kevin Pollard is in fact present today. It is you that is Kevin Pollard, Your Honor. It is you.
Really?
Yes, Your Honor. It is you. That is Kevin Pollard. Yes, Your Honor. You are Kevin Pollard today, Your Honor. I am the beneficiary.
And then who are you?
I am the beneficiary of the trust.
Okay, well, Mr. Beneficiary, take you and your trust back to jail.
I have some questions for the clerk, Your Honor.
No.
I have. Can I speak to the clerk before we go any further?
You know what? I'll put you in timeout. Get your mind right. Mr. Pollard?
Yes, sir. Can I have the clerk present? Please, Your Honor.
Don't give in.
Please have the clerk present in a Zoom meeting.
You know what? If you answer my questions, I'll consider it.
Okay. What's the question?
What's your name?
The beneficiary.
All right, Mr. Beneficiary.
Back in timeout. This judge is really giving us a show right now. I'm so tired of the usual judges who just sit there, letting people run their mouths with zero consequences. But not this guy. He's got the patience of a parent who's already counted to 3 and is done playing games. Honestly, this is a breath of fresh air because judges have the authority to maintain order in the courtroom under contempt of court laws. That basically means if you act out, they can fine you, kick you out, or even throw you in jail for a bit. Some judges refuse to put their foot down, and I don't even know why. That's how courtrooms turn into reality TV drama shows.
All right, beneficiary. I'm going to give you another chance in front of another magistrate.
That's no problem. Can I have the clerk present, please?
Hey, sir, I'm magistrate Charter. DDC.
Yeah.
I'm talking to the DDC officer.
Yes.
DDC?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. The gentleman that is in front of the screen, in front of camera 1, what name do you have him listed as?
Kevin Pollard.
Do you have a middle name?
No, ma'am.
Okay, so you have a Kevin Pollard. Okay, and sir, you're identified as Kevin Pollard, but you're considering yourself the beneficiary. Is that correct, sir?
Are we on the record?
We are. Everything is on the record.
Okay. Are you stating that the trust that we are now administrating is the Kevin Pollard trust, ma'am?
I'm not administrating any trust because there is no trust in front of me. But what I'm asking you is, you call yourself the beneficiary. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, no problem. I have case number is 240-5538101. People of the state of Michigan versus Kevin Theron Anthony Pollard, who is listed by DDC as Kevin Pollard. However, the gentleman has identified himself as the beneficiary.
You representing as Kevin Pollard today, Your Honor.
Mr. Pollard,
I'm not.
Mr. Pollard, as your counsel, I am going to advise that you stop speaking and allow the judge to speak.
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel Kirkland.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Shava Kirkland on behalf of Mr. Pollard, who has been advised of his rights, wishes to stand mute and waive the formal reading.
Thank you. I'm going to enter plea of not guilty. Court dates are February 2nd, 2024. It is a probable cause conference, followed by preliminary examination, February 8th, 1:30 p.m. Both matters are in front of Judge King. The probable cause conference, it is at 8:30 in the morning. Mr. Beneficiary, you should not talk over to the court. I thank you very much.
You are under oath and you are on record. And I'm asking you,
beneficiary, I have not sworn you under oath. I am under oath, so I am doing all this. I'm going to enter plea of not guilty. I already given the court dates while this case is pending, sir. Okay, there should be no contact with the individual.
You are not allowed to state what the judgment is. That is my job.
Mr. Pollard, I do want to let you know that the person.
Okay.
I have a question for the clerk.
Okay.
I have a question for the clerk. I have a question for the clerk.
You will give an opportunity, sir. You will give an opportunity. Let me finish. The people, go ahead, Esteban.
Yeah, the people are asking for $250,000 cash bond, no cash, no surety. If he's able to ever post bond, we'd like GPS tether with home arrest. The defendant, Your Honor, has a continuing situation where he entices young girls on the internet from Arizona in this particular case, and previously on 10/23/2023 and another.
This dude should already be charged with contempt. No doubt about it. He's straight up disrespecting the court and making a joke out of the entire process. It's like he thinks there aren't any real consequences for his actions. On top of that, he's out here encouraging behavior that could lead younger people down the wrong path, and that's just not okay. It's one thing to mess up yourself, but when you start influencing people who aren't even old enough to fully understand the weight of their decisions, that's a whole other level of messed up. This case is serious, and I don't understand why he's acting like this. Usually, we see sovereign citizens pull these stunts for something minor, like a driving charge, but this guy is looking at a lot of prison time for what he's done. He's not just a danger to himself, he's a danger to others. It's honestly scary to think he could end up back on the streets.
Criminal sexual conduct. The first case, he was found not guilty back on 5/15/2015. The 10/21/2023 case, where he was criminal sexual conduct first degree and also contributing alcohol to a minor, 2 counts of that, was at the exam dismissed without prejudice. In our particular case we have here today, Your Honor, the victim is from Arizona. She came here after having a relationship, not the victim, but one of the witnesses came here after having a 3-year relationship with this defendant on the internet. When she turned 18, she came to visit. And also, Mr. Pollard introduced her to another girl who is also from Arizona. The other girl brought her niece or her, I forgot the relationship, but her 7-year-old niece with her to visit Mr. Pollard. And what happened then, because the person was tired from traveling, she fell asleep in the living room. When she woke up, she went into the bedroom, and there was Mr. Pollard with the 7-year-old girl. He then said, "What are you doing?" And he says, "Well, we're playing video games." So the woman, the adult in the room, she falls asleep again. And then she is awakened by the 7-year-old girl and asked to leave. The 7-year-old girl then tells her mother that the Mr. Pollard touched her, rubbed her, he says, okay? He said, accidentally is what he's trying to tell us what happened. The situation is she's told the 7-year-old child has told TED Talk that he did this. He's told Protective Services that he did this. And as far as I'm concerned, Judge, he fits the category of a predator because he did the same thing in the 10/23/2023 case of enticing young people from other parts of the country, perhaps, I don't know where exactly, to come and see him on the internet. So we're asking for $250,000 cash bond, no surety, and GPS tabular if he's ever be able to post bond, Your Honor.
I'm not going to lie, that bond is pretty high, but honestly, in this case, it still feels a little low. You might think I'm being harsh, but come on. This guy is facing serious charges, and on top of that, he's blatantly disrespecting the court, trying to talk over the judge like he's above it all. The whole situation is just insane, and it really shows his true character. In all honesty, a bond closer to $1 million seems way more fitting for someone this dangerous and defiant. Let me know what you guys think. Should the bond be higher? Because honestly, it needs to be quadrupled in my opinion. But let's dive back in and see what happens next.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'd ask this court, understanding the seriousness of these charges, for a 10% bond if this court is not inclined to do a high personal bond. So one, I know the bulk of Brother Counsel's argument was this dismissed case from last year. I'd ask that this court sentence him based on these allegations and the facts and details surrounding this case. This is a 2020 case. And the woman that he met was 20 years old, or that came to see him was a 20-year-old woman, was not an underage woman. And the allegation is that she brought her, I believe, goddaughter to the home. Now, there are different variations because a couple different stories are told as to what occurred there. But Mr. Pollard has maintained that he did not sexually assault the little girl. I'm not sure why this case wasn't charged until 2024, but it is a 4-year-old case. My understanding is that he I don't believe he's had any convictions since then. He is a lifelong resident, has a child, so he has strong ties to the community. He also owns a lawn service here. At this point, there's no amount of bond that he can't afford to pay, so even a 10% bond would be unaffordable for him. But given the age of this case and his lack of issues since this, I'd ask this court consider a high personal bond, if not that, a 10% bond.
Thank you. I've heard the representations from both sides in this particular matter in reference to the beneficiary who is listed by the court or by DDC as Kevin Pollard, is that in this particular matter, even though this is from 2020, okay, there was a forensic interview, Kids Talk, with the victim, and she disclosed that she was touched by the defendant and that he rubbed her with his hand. This court is not considering the other cases that were dismissed. They were dismissed without prejudice. Okay, this court is only going with this matter. In reference to this gentleman, the defendant, bond is going to be $250,000 cash. There's going to be a GPS tether, home arrest. Further, okay, it's going to be unaffordable. So today is Friday. He's going to get another court date. Today is the 26th. January 29th, 2024, 9 o'clock in front of Judge McConicle, who's going to be looking at the bond amount and bond conditions. Also, there is one other thing. This court looks at clear and convincing evidence standard, okay, based on the representation, based on the reading. This court is convinced that Mr. Pollard, okay, I'm sorry, the beneficiary, okay, that he is a creditor in this particular matter. That's why we're putting at $250,000 cash, GPS tether, house arrest. He does have the unaffordable bond redetermination for this Monday, January 29, 2024, 9 o'clock in front of Judge McConigal. Also, there's another bond condition. He's not to be around any minor children. That concludes the arraignment of the beneficiary, also known as Kevin Pollard. Madam Clerk.
Pretrial, Your Honor.
You wish to talk to the gentleman that's in front of the screen.
Judge.
Okay. Just so for the record, is that the clerk has declined to talk to the gentleman in front of the screen.
That is not fair.
Thank you.
That is not fair. You cannot do this. Under oath and on record, you cannot do this. I have rights, and you violated them, and you was not my judge.
Okay, you can go. Go ahead and do whatever.
You can.
This guy really thinks the judge is just going to say, "You're right, this isn't fair," even though he's facing serious charges. There's no way that's happening. The judge clearly has jurisdiction, and if he doesn't realize that, he should take a look at where he is sitting in a jail cell. No matter how much he complains, he's not going anywhere. It's honestly ridiculous that he thinks he can talk his way out of this situation when the reality is right in front of him. Now, let's get into his bond redetermination hearing. He's really trying to lower his $250,000 bond, but let's see how that plays out. Just a little spoiler. The judge is not playing around, and things get very heated. Let's dive into this hearing now.
For your client. So 250?
Cash, that's correct.
Argument.
Judge, my client's 38 years of age. He's on Social Security disability, Judge. I don't see any criminal history for Mr. Pollard, Your Honor. He lives in the city, does have a child. Your Honor, this alleged incident occurred back in 2020. So it's some 4 years ago. Obviously, it's a serious case, obviously. But it's 4 years old, Judge. He has no priors. I'm asking respectfully for a reduction in bond. The bond is $250,000 cash. Judge, I know the court will impose a GPS tether. I already know that, Judge. My client, in fact, Judge, he has a tether already on. He has a tether already on. Let me be clear about that. There's a misdemeanor, and I apologize, Judge, if I said something wrong initially. There's a misdemeanor that he has the tether for, so it's a misdemeanor.
Okay.
Your Honor. And he does a lawn care service, so he does have some work that he does. But the court doesn't have to worry about tether. I'm just asking for a reduction in bond to either a high some type of 10% bond. I think $250,000, Judge, is excessive. Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Prosecutor.
Judge, the defendant on the screen today in the top left, he's being charged with assaulting a 7-year-old. The assault allegedly happened at his house in his bed. Your Honor, this is an individual who allegedly is self-proclaimed part of the tribe of Judah. This is also an individual that I actually had the opportunity to watch the arraignment regarding the defendant in this case. Gave the magistrate such a hard time that multiple magistrates actually ended up having to handle the matter because he wouldn't give up his name or his identity. Now, being charged with this and now knowing what his past is like, I may refrain from giving a magistrate or a judge my name as well. Because, Judge, the situation that Mr. Reagan is talking about that the defendant's involved in right now, it has to do with selling and furnishing alcohol to minors, to a 12-year-old and 14-year-old. It actually originally began as a criminal sexual conduct first degree where the defendant allegedly was having...
All right, sorry for the cuts, guys. I can't mention certain details because of YouTube's rules. Not that you'd want to hear them, but I know it can be a little annoying, so I apologize for that. That being said, this guy is seriously dangerous. He's not just some random person. He's a real threat. Now, looking at his $250,000 bond, on top of everything else he's done, he also follows a sovereign citizen type ideology. If you don't know much about that, It's basically a movement where people refuse to acknowledge the government's authority, and some groups within it have been involved in really extreme situations. When you combine that mindset with his criminal actions, it makes him an even bigger danger than people realize. Honestly, this guy is completely done. The prosecutor is handling this case incredibly well, exposing everything for what it is. You can tell he's not letting this guy manipulate the system, and it's wild to watch because the case is just crumbling for the defendant. But don't go anywhere, because the judge is about to drop a major ruling. Let's get into it.
Apparently, the idea that somebody didn't appear at a hearing, it was reduced to the selling and furnishing of the alcohol. So he has an ongoing matter right now, Judge. He's on bond. We have this particular matter, allegedly, where this individual ended up touching a 7-year-old's. We have corroboration to that, Judge. And Your Honor, with all due respect, the way that the people see this defendant, based on previously being charged, now being charged with another CSE first degree, we find him to be a predator. Not only that, Judge, we find him to be mentally unstable. He's currently on a case regarding minors. And just plain and simple, Judge, we find him to be a danger to the community. Therefore, Judge, we do feel as though a high cash bond is appropriate. We do feel as though the magistrate got it right here in terms of the $250,000 cash, not just to this particular complainant, but kids, all kids. This is one of those individuals where we feel as though he poses a danger to everybody.
See, where we I haven't heard the arguments of counsel, where this gets a little dicey for concerning bond, is that we have a situation where the defendant allegedly, I guess an 18-year-old comes in town to visit with him for her birthday. She turned 18, so she comes to see the 37-year-old who she's been in a long-term relationship with for the last 3 years. So I guess he would have been 34 starting the relationship with the 50-year-old. Allegedly, she talks to a friend and they come over and the 7-year-old is over. The girl comes and finds the two of them in the bed, and then the mother contacts a person asking who is this Kevin guy, because her daughter says he touched her. So, and then we have another case of furnishing alcohol to 12-year-olds, and whether there's sex there or not sex there, we have a pattern that's a little bit concerning. It's a lot of minors, a lot of alcohol, a lot of sex allegations, a lot of molestation allegations, a lot of flying people in who are kids and teenagers, and so we're real concerned about this. So the $250,000 bond is an unaffordable bond, and so the court does find that this defendant is a danger to all kids. He's just a danger. The court is going to disagree with the magistrate on this, and I know the magistrate or magistrates had some issues with this defendant, and they used the information that they had at this time to come up with the $250,000 bond. But the court does find that Mr. Pollard poses a great danger to the community, and a $250,000 bond is unaffordable, but it's not enough. It's not enough. So what we're going to do is we're going to add some to it to make sure he's incapacitated. But if he posts a bond, then that means we know that he'll appear for court. So the bond is going to be increased to $1 million, and that'll be.
Oh my gosh, I was not expecting that. Seriously, when I first heard that $1 million bond, I was like, wait, is this for real? That's a pretty big number, but honestly, for the kind of charges this guy is facing, it feels completely justified. Let me know if you guys agree. A $1 million bond is meant to make sure someone stays behind bars and doesn't just walk out like it's no big deal. Even if he somehow manages to post it, the fact that he be putting up $100,000 means he's almost guaranteed to come back. He's not going to risk losing that kind of money. It's basically a loud and clear message that the system is not playing around. And based on the way the prosecutor, The judge, and even this guy's own attorney, who looks like he doesn't even want to be there, are handling this. It's clear nobody is on his side. I just really hope he doesn't get out on that bond. But let me know in the comments if you think $1 million is fair or not. Personally, I don't think he's posting it, but still, that's a lot of money.
And Mr. Pollard is not to have any interactions with anyone under the age of 18, whether they're family, whether he knows them. He's not to be around anyone under the age of 18. If he is, that will violate this bond. Thank you.
So, Judge, the bond was $250,000 cash.
Yeah, and now it's $1 million cash. Now it's $1 million cash.
Okay.
It's $1 million now. It's $1 million now.
Okay, because he's on Social Security disability now. Can't afford it.
I understand, but the court finds that Mr. Pollard, it may be some serial action is going on right here, and I don't really know if he's like a serial rapist. I don't know if there are other children that he just lays in the bed with allegedly and touches, or there's other 12-year-olds, or if he's flying other 18-year-olds out to celebrate their birthday. I'm not sure. So what we have to do is we're going to err on the side of caution and make sure that Mr. Pollard is not able, at least right now, to be able to engage or even be charged with engaging in these type of activities.
Yeah, no, Judge, I get it. I know it's rough when the allegations are from January of 2020, but the prosecutor doesn't charge until January 24. I mean,
Yeah, it's when it looks like it wasn't until October 14th of 2023 when the mother called asking, who is this Kevin guy? So that we just kind of got that information, and I'm not sure when the 12-year-old, I'm not sure when all the 12-year-old and the alcohol when that happened. So it's a lot, Mr. Reagan, and so the timeline may get a little bit jumbled. But it's a lot of kids, teenagers, alcohol, sex, molestation. It's kind of blending, and so we're here where we are.
Yes, sir.
Right, thank you, Mr. Pollard.
All right, guys, before we jump into the last two hearings with this so-called sovereign citizen, just know that things are about to get super intense. The next judge is on a whole different level, super strict, no nonsense, and not entertaining any of these arguments. You're going to see him shut this guy down fast, and it is so satisfying to watch. But before we dive into that, I want to hear what you guys think because I love reading your comments. Personally, I think the $1 million bond is fair, but let me know your thoughts. Now, let's dive back in and see what this judge has to say.
Unmute yourself and tell us your name, sir. Mr. Pollard. Have them unmute you so you can tell us your name. Tell me your name, sir.
I exercise my right to remain silent.
You don't want to tell us your name?
I'm the beneficiary.
Beneficiary of what?
Of the trust that we are now here to administrate.
Okay, that's fine. Can you tell me your name?
Excuse me?
Can you tell me your name?
The beneficiary of the trust, Your Honor. I'm not
beneficiary of trust.
I'm not here. I'm not summoned here as the name. I'm summoned as the trust. It'll be a contradiction.
I'm looking for Kevin Pollard. If he's not here, I will capious him.
Your Honor, you are appearing as Kevin Pollard today.
No, I'm not. My name is Kenneth King.
No, Your Honor, you are the trustee of the administrate, the trust that we are now here to administrate. It is a
I have no idea what you're talking about, sir. I'm just looking for Kevin Pollard. If you're not him, then I'll issue an arrest warrant for Kevin Pollard because he's supposed to be here.
Under trust law, it's a contradiction for one to be the beneficiary and the trustee, Your Honor.
All right, you're talking a different language to me. I have no idea what you're talking about. Miss James, how would you like to proceed?
Judge, originally I was going to ask that it be set for a preliminary examination, but it sounds like it may be a competency issue. So Judge, what I'm going to ask the court to do, I have an appointment to meet with Mr. Pollard this afternoon. I'm going to ask the court if you would, we can set an exam date, but we can also set Monday as a review date.
Hey, why don't we just do that before we set an exam date?
Okay.
The court will adjourn the probable cause conference. If you're able to find Mr. Pollard, we'll adjourn the probable cause conference to February 5th at 8:30.
Yes, Your Honor.
Find Mr. Pollard and I will issue a case for his arrest. Thank you.
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you.
Sir, in Wayne County Jail, what's your name?
There you go.
Say your name.
Say your name, sir.
For me,
Yeah.
the beneficiary of the state. I'm here today for the state.
What's your name, sir? I don't know who the beneficiary is.
Excuse me?
What is your name?
I'm coming to appear as the beneficiary of the state, Your Honor.
Okay, forget all that. What did your mom call you? What's your name? I have no idea who you are, sir. Okay, well, you're gonna sit there until I figure out who you are.
I'm not under that jurisdiction to consent to the name, Your Honor. That's appearing under your jurisdiction.
Your case is then, because I'm looking for Mr. Pollard. If you're not Mr. Pollard, then you're not here. The warrant will be for your arrest, and you can sit in jail till you rot for all I care.
That's fine, Your Honor, but that's
Deputy, you can remove him. He's not here.
he's not here today because he doesn't exist.
Okay, bye.
Seriously love when judges handle cases like this. No nonsense, just straight law and zero emotion. It's honestly so refreshing to see someone stand their ground and not let people try to weasel out of accountability. As for this guy, I have to say, there's definitely something deeper going on with him. He's not just someone trying to dodge the system. There's a lot more to his behavior, and it's honestly kind of concerning. In all honesty, I have a strong feeling he's been involved in a lot more than what's being brought up in court today. His past actions make it seem like this isn't his first time in serious trouble. Anyway, guys, let me know what you thought about this court hearing. I think it was super satisfying to see him get put in his place and hit with that $1 million bond. That was pretty insane. I've never seen anything like it before. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe if you want more content like this. Trust me, there's a lot more where this came from. I post every single day, so stay tuned for that. I seriously appreciate every single one of you for watching, and I'm so glad you're here. Take care, everybody. I'll see you in the next one.